The Salvation Army collecting for the Red Shield appeal. We'll leave you now.
Shield appeal. So if you see the Sallies passing by, why not help them out? The Salvos are rattling the tin again in their annual Red Shield appeal. Each year they help around 1 million Australians in crisis. And obviously the past few months have placed an enormous strain on their capacity to deliver what people need. Door knockers are out and about in our cities and towns, but if you're a bit further out and want to help, you can also donate by ringing 13 Salvos, which is 137258, or by logging on to www.salvationarmy.org.au. And you can also donate at any Westpac Bank branch.
This weekend, give generously. That's the
Salvation Army shows more than 2/3 of Australians know someone who's struggling to pay for everyday basics like power, gas, water and even food.
In the past year, the Salvos say a record 80,000 people came to them asking for help. The report comes as the Salvos launches its annual Red Shield appeal. And for more, Salvation Army Major Bram Cassidy joins us now. Bram Cassidy, good morning. Good to see you.
Good morning.
In fact, this has been a trend that seems to have been on the rise for some time. More and more people coming to the Salvos for help.
Absolutely. I've been with the Salvation Army for just over 20 years, and I don't think we've ever seen a decrease in the needs of people coming to see us. Absolutely.
And the kinds of people coming to see you, can you draw a picture for us?
You don't want to stereotype the kinds of people that come to see the Salvation Army, because we often think it's a certain person, perhaps on benefits, but it's actually people who may be either underemployed, people who are employed in lower jobs or lower paying jobs that really struggle from time to make ends meet.
And they're not the sort of people or the sort of families you may not have seen even 2 or 3 years ago. Is that fair to say?
Well, no, they're not, and I think our research bears that out. And when we say that 68% of people know someone, that suggests that this is people that they know. It may be them, it may be someone they live with or work with. It's a large number, 12.5 million people. So it's not someone that they've seen on TV or someone across town. It's people they know that are struggling.
In fact, that's the heart of the Salvation Army Red Shield campaign that I've seen with the little flyer that came into my letterbox a couple of weeks ago. And it really did strike me as very effective, and it was genuinely very moving, because it tells the stories of people who never thought they'd find themselves in this situation, and it makes that point about them being ordinary Australians like you know, Michael and me, who could find ourselves in that position.
Or indeed Dave, in one of our ads this year, you know, cluster of horrible events happens to Dave,
yeah.
And whereas he may have been a supporter of people like the Salvation Army, finds himself needing to get some assistance.
And looking at the survey you've done ahead of this appeal, a lot of people accepting help from the Salvos have had to cut down on what they describe as luxuries. But looking at that list, they're far from luxurious items.
It begs the question, what is a luxury?
Just run through all
well, a luxury for some of the people that come to see us may well be things like medication. I don't think we call that a luxury. It may well be reduced heating, because they don't want to have heating on for extended hours because they know what's going to come with that. It may well be very simple things like a cup of coffee or no meat in their meals.
So your resources then must be stretched as well if you've got more and more people coming to you.
Absolutely. The Salvation Army never has an excess, and so we have to then just move things and do what we can, but we are stretched, absolutely.
Are your donations increasing? Are you getting more from us as the years go on?
We are, and the Australians have an incredible capacity to give. We've obviously had floods earlier this year, and an enormous amount of money was given to organisations like the Salvation Army and many others.
Yes.
And yet, as we move towards our door knock appeal, our donations are strong, keeping in mind that most of our income will come over the next few weeks.
Just finally, tell us about this year's appeal. When can we give and where?
Yes. You ought to see someone from the Salvation Army or part of the great volunteers that support us this weekend. You may see them on your door, you may see them in a shopping centre, at a railway station, or in many places. So this is the prime weekend for our door knock.
Major Bram Cassidy, all the best. Good to see you.
Terrific. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
68% of Australians know someone who is finding it very tough to pay for the basic necessities of life. It's also found just over half of our population is very stressed about what their financial future holds. And joining us now to discuss more about this very important story is Major Glenn Whittaker from the Salvation Army. Glenn, thanks so much for your time this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Really appreciate it. You do wonderful work. Now, talking about this research, are you finding there are more Australians in need that need your help?
Oh, look, certainly, yes. We said last year that there was 80,000 new people who'd come to the Salvation Army, and our recent research is showing that that is on the ever increase, and people are now becoming very, very stressed about what will the next year now present, because some of the monies and the way things are, it's crippling people, ordinary people out there.
And just on that point, we've been asking people to tweet in their questions today about serious issues. We've had one from an unemployed single parent called William Davis. He says his payments haven't increased, his unemployment benefits, but gosh, the cost of living, every single bill is skyrocketing, and he says he can't cope. How do people cope faced with those circumstances?
That is a tough one. I know some single parents with children, and what they're having to do is to make considered decisions. Do I buy shampoo this week, or do I buy, what do I buy in my shopping? I think if people can contact the Salvation Army, we certainly have trained people. We can offer money care where we can assist them with their budgeting, or even help them renegotiate if they have loans and things to pay off. So if you contact the Salvation Army, then we can provide professional assistance, at least to help you at this point of time, but give advice as to, a direction in your life.
Glenn, there's a great misconception, many may say, in our community that the Salvos help out people on the street, people with mental illness, unemployed, but that's not correct. The Salvos could be helping out our next door neighbours, or, gosh forbid, ourselves very shortly.
We do. We have a wide range of services, and I think what you've said is, what jumps into people's minds immediately. But we do work with migrants. We do work with people who are incarcerated in prison, but there's people who are left behind to cope. And so through our wide range of services, that's what the Red Shield Appeal is about. And we also are continuing our work, in Queensland and other places from the natural disasters that have happened through this year.
You just mentioned then about your very important fundraising drive this weekend, the Red Door Shield Appeal.
Yep.
Now, in regards to where does that money go, and the fact that people might think they can only donate a small amount, but every dollar counts.
Oh, look, it does. Our national goal is $79 million, but it actually costs $500 million to run all of the Salvation Army services across the nation. This $79 million is the shortfall that we are asking the community if they could help us. The money goes to the wide variety of services, and if people can help us out over this weekend, our goal this weekend, $9 million nationally. But I try to sum it up by saying that if you can put a little piece of the jigsaw puzzle into that bigger picture, then you know what, it'll all come together. And the people out there are the silent army behind the Salvos Army. And, it's the community who work with us, and we can make a difference together.
Great analogy. Thanks so much, and good luck with your work, and very important work in this weekend.
Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Glenn. Much appreciated.
Is going up, and now new research from the Salvos shows most Australians are worried by the growing gap between rich and poor. More than 12 million of us know someone struggling to pay for basics like food and power bills. A quarter of Salvo's clients say they're worse off now than they were last year, and 2/3 have had to cut back dramatically on spending. Major Peter Sutcliffe from the Salvation Army is here now. Major, good morning to you. We hear all these things about rising costs, rising inflation, potentially rising interest rates. They are bad stats out there, and it could get worse.
It certainly could get worse, especially for our clients who are struggling day in and day out.
What are you seeing there?
What they are, for a lot of our clients, they're already on the poverty line, and with the increase in cost of living, electricity, rent, water, petrol, food, they just have got nothing left to fall back on, and they are struggling.
Is it across a broad section of suburbs and states?
What our people are saying, it's just not in any one particular area. people in the cities and in the rural areas are all struggling.
Gee, it's a worry, isn't it? And when they talk about this mining boom and how rich the country is, and we've survived the GFC, and we know that people are struggling in those certain areas. We know that the retail sector is also struggling now. Where do you see it going in the next year?
Well, with the way it's going, we think we're going to see a bigger demand upon our services. And the thing is, with the clients that we deal with, they're usually the first impacted by any downturn in the economy. And when the economy turns around, they're the last to be come out of that.
All right, that is the importance of this Red Shield appeal doorknob. If we're going to be seeing more people, the salvos are going to need more money to do a terrific job. And there it is. It's happening on the 28th and 29th. So, so if you can, dig deep and help out, because you know it's going to people who desperately need it. Major, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you to everyone that works for the Salvation Army too. It's an amazing job, amazing vocation. Lisa.
They're a wonderful organisation. Thanks, Carl.